Hey Platoon, fall in. This is the Joe and the Jarhead show.
Wow.
Joe has already been broken over there. Don't worry about him.
Oh, I'm just bracing myself for the outrageous volume shouted into a microphone.
Jarhead here, speaking a lot of awesomeness. Get used to Joe over here representing the United States pigs' butts. Can't handle the awesomeness.
Said the guy with a Spartan Warrior sticker on his hat when he wouldn't even run a Spartan race with me.
The one where you
I'm just saying.
One where he broke his ankle in a gopher hole. Yeah.
And kept
He
running.
couldn't be there. This is the Joe and the Jarhead show. We got a lot of current events coming up. We're going to talk about a lot of good news going on you're not going to see in the news. That's why we're here.
Truth.
But we're going to start off with a little inspiration. You ready to be inspired, Joe?
I'm ready for you to give it your best shot.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about Albert Einstein.
You did okay last time.
I did great last time. It's just your lack of awesomeness is the problem. So, Albert Einstein said, "Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds." And that's something we need to recognize as people who dream, as people who chase goals. There's always going to be people there who mock you. There's always going to be people there who scorn you. There's another quote right here I want to read. It says, "Whenever you dare to dream big, whenever you make yourself vulnerable to criticism of others, you will be mocked, you will be ridiculed, and you will be scorned." You know who said that? Jarhead said that. You inspired? Yes, you. I can see it all over your face.
No, I'm just trying to think of a reason not to use you as the mediocre minds part of that.
It's so funny. So
yeah, you're right. If
you don't want to be the
you aspire to mediocrity.
If you don't want to be the Joe in this situation, we need to rise above the scorn, right? I mean, in First Psalms, that's what it says. You need to rise above the haters who sit in their seats.
I know you didn't say the word psalms.
Psalms.
Oh my gosh.
Psalms.
There you go.
The psalmist.
Oh my gosh.
What's the problem?
I did not pregame with enough Excedrin for this. I just did not.
So in this psalmist, he said 1-1.
Oh, wow. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you ready?
No, but let's do it anyway.
I like how easy it is to break a Joe. You get that? You say the word psalm and the guy needs Excedrin. That's how weak the army is.
I guarantee you, like 50% of the Christians watching this show just either face palmed or head desk.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they all speak Jarhead. I think they're okay.
I don't think so.
Anyways, the moral of the story here is, the inspirational thought is we need to rise above the mediocre minds. If you want to ignore the haters, if you want to be that person, that's what you got to do. You got to rise above. You got to learn to ignore those who are mocking you, those who are scorning you, so that you are not the person with the mediocre mind.
It's what I do every show. I ignore the mediocre mind and its accompanying scorn, and I don't know, I have a great time doing this.
Yeah, and you still need Excedrin to get through.
Yeah, but just that's because you're unbelievably bad grammar. Mm-hmm. Which is actually mediocre for a Jarhead, so I guess you're doing well.
Good stuff.
Yes, sir.
This week in history.
This week in history is pretty awesome, not gonna lie. So this week in 1862, President Lincoln, Abe, or maybe Abe from last episode, I don't know.
Abe is much better.
Yes. He signed the act that authorized the Medal of Honor. It was, and I hate to bring this up, but the U.S. Army Medal of Honor was actually based on the U.S. Navy Medal of Valor, and originally it was only available, it could only be earned by enlisted soldiers and non-commissioned officers. Really? It wasn't until the next year that officers could earn it. So we're out there doing hero stuff, and I guess the thought was, well, you're supposed to be doing that anyway.
Yeah. You're not worthy.
Yeah, right. The first recipient was, his name was Private Jacob Parrott of K Company, 33rd Ohio Volunteer Infantry. Notice I did not say volunteer tankers or cavalry or artillery or finance. No, he was an infantryman. And he and a bunch of his buddies decided to get squirrely and volunteer for a mission way behind enemy lines, ripping up tracks and breaking bridges behind Confederate lines down between Tennessee and Georgia. And they did, but their getaway wasn't as clean because Confederate trains were crap and they ran out of fuel. But on his release from prison camp, he was awarded the first Medal of Honor, him and 5 of his buddies.
So there was him and 5 other dudes got it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense.
It is. Well, he got it first, and then I think a couple days later, his buddies got it.
So it wasn't posthumously then?
No.
Wow. That's awesome. That's even better.
It is, right? Because that's been the way it was. Like I swear, for the start of the Iraq War, like you couldn't earn a Medal of Honor unless you didn't make it back.
Right? Yeah.
But to date, 3,519 of these things have been awarded, and 622 of those were posthumous.
Good stuff.
But yeah, it is a good thing to have something like that is immediately publicly recognizable, that sets service members apart from their fellows.
Yep. And it's come to the point. It's gotten to the point where it's not only is it recognized as the highest achievement you can get in America, but it's been recognized worldwide. Right?
Yep.
So when people get this here in America, they're starting to recognize it on news agencies across the seas. So it's pretty cool. Anyways, let's get down to the news. We've got a lot of news going on. I want to start off with NATO, because NATO's been blasting the news lately, right? Well, they had the big NATO summit. They went there and had breakfast. And usually this thing is just a dog and pony show. Just the reason for all these big world leaders to get together, shake hands, and talk to each other about their dogs. I don't know. But this time it's a little bit different, because America has a celebrity president now. So he goes there and he starts throwing around stuff saying, you guys need to pony up and start paying more into NATO. And it's confusing, because he's starting to throw out percentages. We need to go from 2% to 4%. You guys need to start paying more, because America's paying more than anybody else all combined. And I'm starting to get confused, because I'm like, what? Is this true? So I did a little bit of research. So we got to take a little trip back in time to 6th grade social economics. So
I like it.
NATO is...
So that's as far as you ever went, right?
That's as far as I needed to go.
Okay.
After that, I just learned how to kill. I'll teach you later, because we know the soldiers never learned how to do that.
Okay.
North Atlantic Treaty Organization is NATO. So there's 29 countries a part of this. It was born in 1949, right after the Soviet Union broke apart. We all got together and said, we're going to watch each other's backs, right? So if one of us gets in trouble, then we're all going to come in and help, right? But right out of the gate, obviously America was the biggest one. We had the biggest military. We had the most money. So we started putting the most military into it. We started putting the most money into it. So it's kind of like the relationship between the Jarheads and the Joes, right? The Jarheads are doing most of the work. We're the one got to do everything. They got the ditches, and the Joes just kind of come in and, oh yeah, we're a part of this. Give us all the glory too, right? It's exactly how it works. Marines are the first to fight.
And then the Army has to come in and clean up all the poop that the Marines leave.
That's all you're good for, is shoveling poop. I'm glad you could admit that.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. Who won the Battle of Fallujah? Oh, that's right. The Army did, because the Marines couldn't do it on their own.
Okay. Count one. We'll let you have one. So in 2017, the United States Defense Department, we spent $946 billion. So we got to say that we're spending 3.5% of our GDP on our Defense Department, right? So the rest of these 29 countries need to be spending 4% on theirs. Now the agreement was that they were only supposed to be spending 2%, but they had to the time to 2024, year 2024 to do that. Trump said, no, you're going to start spending more on your own defense, because we're tired of spending all our money on you guys, and we were. So the NATO, they have their own budget, right? It's about $2 billion, and right now, America puts in 22% of that budget, right? Nearly a quarter of that is coming from us, and all the other countries put in what they can. So Trump says, no more, we're gonna get in, you guys need to start doing a bit more cost sharing. Now, the money that actually goes into NATO is very confusing, because it's based on GDP and the GNI, so gross national income. So you do that plus GDP plus dividends from other countries. It's a big mess. But in the end...
Dude, my eyes are crossing already.
Yeah, I doubt even the people in NATO can make sense out of that. But in the end, what it comes down to is we're putting in almost a quarter of the money into NATO, America is. So Trump did the right thing by saying other countries need to pony up, start putting more money into it. And so that's where everything's coming from. That's why NATO is such a big thing in the news, which is the right thing to do. They need to start ponying up and doing more.
They do. I've served alongside NATO allies, and yeah, I don't know what they're spending their money on, but it's not on their defense.
Yeah.
Because their armies are not the best.
They're probably paying about $10,000 per a sticky note or something.
No, I don't think so. They don't bring sticky notes. They use ours.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. $2 billion a year. Who knows where that's going? But that's the NATO for you, broken down, and that's why it's all over the news lately, which is a good thing, I think, because it's about time.
Right.
So.
Start paying your way, other people.
And the one country that we're going to talk about next, it's not a part of NATO, is...
Russia.
Yes. See that segue?
Yes. Well, actually, Russia was founded, or NATO was founded because of Russia, because of the Soviet Union.
Yep. Thanks, Russia.
So, yeah, way to get other countries to spend their money. Stirrings, some rumblings going on over on the Balkan states, the Baltic states rather. That's Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. These are all breakaway Soviet republics that when the Soviet Union collapsed, they became their own countries again. And there's a little pocket on the Baltic Sea where it's Russia, right? So there's Russia over here, and then all these other countries, and then a little bit more Russia. And
so much like right at the top of Poland, right?
Right at the top of Poland, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the Kaliningrad enclave, or the Kaliningrad Oblast, and it's Russian territory. They have an Air Force base there, they have a naval air station there, and it is the headquarters for the Baltic Fleet. And over the last few months, they've been building up their bases there again. Like our satellite imagery is showing like brand new construction. They're building earth-packed bunkers there, which earth-packed bunkers is usually layers of absorbent dirt over giant munitions bunkers. So like your artillery and your aircraft munition bunkers, which that's you don't move that stuff in unless you're serious.
No, you're not playing games at that point. You're not doing war games. Everybody likes to go out and do training exercises in front of other countries. That's not what this is. So what connects that Russia to main Russia is a little corridor. It's like 62 kilometers wide, called the Suwalki Corridor, or the Suwalki Gap. And that's a big problem to have that there, because it's this little umbilical cord that connects this smaller chunk of Russia to the main part, but it also blocks Poland from Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, which are actually NATO members. So the threat is that if Russia just moves troops in there and occupies it, which they can do because it is part of Russia, they've just cut off 3 NATO members and are in a position to invade Poland. Yep. So,
and that's basically effectively isolating NATO members from help without firing a shot.
Yep. Because those 3 countries, there's nothing but Russia right there and then the sea. So they got nothing. Right?
Yeah, they are sandwiched between Russia and Belarus, which is actually a Russian ally. They were another Soviet breakaway state, but they are militarily very closely allied with Russia. They conduct joint exercises all the time.
So the reason this concerns me is because last time Russia started flexing their muscles like this, started moving troops down to a little place called Crimea. In Ukraine.
In the Ukraine, yep.
When they told us exactly what we're going to do. They're going to go down there and they said, that's ours, we're taking it. And we said, no, you're not. The rest of the country got involved, said, right? No, you will not do that. What did Russia do?
They did it.
Yep, they did it.
And what did we do back?
Shame on you.
Yes.
I'm not going to shake your hand anymore.
Yes, we refused to shake their hand.
That's what we did.
Good times. So Poland is right now willing to pay for a U.S. military base in Poland. They're like, we will give you this land, and they want an entire U.S. armored division there. We only have one armored division anymore. We have 1st Armor out of Fort Hood.
Wow. But something's got to happen. I mean, we got to do it. We can't just sit back and let Putin do more Crimea stuff, right?
Putin? I like that. That's very John Kerry of you. Vladimir Putin. I like it. Putin.
Sounds like pooping. Can we just call him that from now on?
Yes, I think we should. If you want us to do that, leave us a comment.
I'm going to do it anyway.
You know what? I agree.
All right. So that's pooping for you. So let's talk about more pooping. Poopin's allies, Iran. Iran's squawking some more.
We have to.
Well, they're in the news. And it's important because all you're going to find in the news is Trump talking about NATO in his tweets.
Yay.
Yeah, which I recently just started following him on Twitter because I guess it was...
Dude, that guy tweets so much.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm getting dumber every time I read it. But let's not go there.
Well, that would be difficult.
Yeah.
That would be exceptionally difficult.
What do you know?
More than a jarhead, clearly. I mean...
Are you sure?
The fact that you don't know that. I'm just saying.
In Iran... So the sanctions are back up in Iran, right? We started the Iran deal in 2015. Trump got nominated president. He got put in as president. He said, nope, no more Iran deal. He tore that up just like he said he would. And so the sanctions are back on. The sanctions saying that no American business can deal with them. And we're not going to take their stuff. And their biggest export is their oil.
Yep.
And what do we import mostly from that area? Oil. So we're going to their friends around that area, mainly Kuwait, UAE, Saudi Arabia, which to get to those places, you got to go through the Persian Gulf to go through there. And then right in there in the Persian Gulf, there's a little narrow strip of water called the Straits of Hormuz, or Hormuzes? Hormuz?
Oh, wait, stop. Go back one. You had that.
Hormuz?
No.
Hormuz.
Oh my gosh.
Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz. Right?
Dude, I accept that that's as close as I'm going to get.
All right. Win! We got it. So it's a strait, right? It's in water. So Iran has said this multiple times, that they're going to go in there and they're going to blockade this little strip of water so that no ships can get through, right? And they've essentially blockaded the rest of the world from getting to oil. They've said it multiple times. They've never
do
done
it, Iran, please.
Right?
Please do it. Please. Oh.
Now this is the thing, because I believe they will. Now the United States Fifth Fleet is there.
Yeah.
They're there all the time. So if they do, it's like, you know what? I dare you. I double dog dare you. Do it. Block it up.
Do you know what you would call the Iranian Navy going up against the Fifth Fleet? Bodies floating on the water. A flaming oil slick where their boats used to be.
So the thing here is because Iran is pretty pissed at us because of the sanctions, and it's not just us, right? Because we got friends who want to get involved in the sanctions because they still want to be our friends. So they're losing a lot of money. So their currency is down like 12%, and the protest.
Wow, that much?
And before the Iran deal, it was down up to like 40%.
Yeah.
So it was getting really bad. So right now, and they're having protests coming back up again because people can't even get pure drinking water in Iran anymore. So the protests are getting bad. So what do? They do the Iran thing and they start making threats. Now the reason this scares me is because I believe Iran when they say that they're going to do this. They're not going to say that just to flex their muscles. They're really going to do this. And in 2016, if you remember, they did just that. So we had 2 Navy boats, right? They were the small riverine boats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they got a little bit lost on their way to the Faris Island. Faris Island? Farash?
Just stop.
Faris?
Please stop.
So they got a little bit lost, and Iran, what they do, they went and found these boats, and they did the most despicable, horrible thing that was legitimately an act of war. They boarded these boats, they pointed guns at United States sailors, made them get on their knees, put their hands on their head, and pretty much arrested them, took them to the mainland. We did not see them for another 15 hours.
You know what? I am no fan of sailors. I know Marines share that thing, but I'll make an exception in this case. You don't do that to Americans.
Nope.
Ever.
So it's hard because this incident happened in 2016 and the Iran deal happened in 2015. So the presidency at that time, Obama and John Kerry, really started beating their chest after they got those sailors back after 15 hours, which I am glad we got them back. I'm glad that nobody was harmed. I disapprove of the way this happened.
But that's not how you do it.
Yep.
You call the Iranian president and say you are going to start losing a federal facility every minute to an F-15 strike until we get our people back.
Now, the important thing to remember here is this is not a Democrat and a Republican thing. This is the right thing to do because if you don't do it right the first time, then when Iran today comes out and says, we're going to block the Strait of Hormuz because you guys are sanctioning us, they're going to do it. And then we're going to have to launch missiles and there's going to be war, battles going on, lives going to be lost because we didn't do it right the first time. This isn't a left and right kind of thing. This is doing the right thing.
This is across the board.
Reasons.
Yeah, that transcends politics.
Yeah. All right, enough of the Hormuz. Hormuz.
Every time I think I'm getting better, or I think you're getting better, you fail again.
You know what? This is how awesome the Jarhead is because I'm pretty sure I'm going to have you bleeding out of your eyeballs without even touching you by the end of this show.
Good, because if you touch me, you're going to be bleeding.
Yeah.
TSA.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes, the TSA. They're like my favorite organization, except for no. Philadelphia's Third U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals just made a decision on Pellegrino versus TSA, which, I don't know if you remember this, but back in 2006, this lady Pellegrino was basically accosted by the TSA and arrested.
Who isn't? I feel like I am every time I go through there.
They just got up on my chili last weekend. I flew down to Reno, and they were just such complete turds.
I thought the Army was into that thing, though. I mean...
No, we're not Marines.
Isn't that where you guys go to get your training? Is from the TSA, though? Isn't that where you guys go to boot camp?
Well, I mean...
The freaking airport?
Yeah, anymore, probably, yeah. I mean, it's better than get it from the Coast Guard, but not by much.
Not by much.
So the ruling was that the TSA screeners are shielded by government sovereign immunity from liability under the Federal Tort Claims Act.
So they're going to do whatever they want?
Yes.
And nobody gets to do anything about it?
No, you cannot sue them. And it was ruled that way because they are not acting in the capacity of an investigation or a law enforcement agency.
I want that job.
Right? Like rough people up and you are immune to prosecution. So,
like, are you wearing a U.S. Army shirt? Come here with me,
yeah,
buddy.
why don't you...
come in this room right here.
Yeah, about that. It is true that the TSA doesn't have any powers of arrest. But that doesn't mean...
Yeah. The airport's, the actually police
yeah, the airport
in
cops.
the airport have to go do that.
Correct. So the Federal Tort Claims Act is from 1946, and because sovereign immunity means that a sovereign, a ruler of a country or a federal government cannot break the law. Like you can't say that they broke the law.
Oh yeah, diplomatic immunity type stuff, kind of.
Yeah, but on against your own people. And
Nonsense.
so the Federal Tort Claims Act said that under certain conditions, we will allow you to sue us.
Okay. Well,
And
that just muddied everything up.
yeah,
Way to make it worse.
right. Yeah, so now under since they are immune to that, you cannot sue them, or at least your most of the avenues to do so have been cut off. So now the TSA can continue doing what they're doing without any threat of recourse.
And this was at the Court of Appeals, Circuit Court of Appeals.
Yep.
So it was federal,
Yes.
not state.
No.
So I went out to everybody, even though it happened just some
Yeah, and
local judge there in Philadelphia.
there's only one up from this.
Spring.
Yeah.
We talked about that a couple episodes ago.
Yep. So jolly good luck getting this overturned.
Right. As if we needed more reasons to hate the TSA.
Right. This is not me hating on the TSA. I'm sure that there are some really good, really honest, really hardworking TSA agents out there. All I'm saying is that it's the rotten 98% that give the rest a bad name.
98. Oh, the Army's trying to do math.
No, I'm serious. Like 98% of those guys are complete turds.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Let's talk about. I'm done talking about turds. Let's talk about.
Let's talk about a
We
hero.
had pooping, then we had the TSA being turds. Now let's talk about a hero, dude. Who's our hero?
We're going to end with the hero. His name is Saman Gunan.
I really
Sure
hope
said
you
that.
said that right.
Yep. It's a
I'm
Thai
gonna-
name. I tried. I looked it up. I had Alexa repeat it back to me just so I could make sure I was trying to say that one right.
Okay.
So if I didn't, I apologize.
It's Alexa's fault.
So if you remember this, we got all 12 boys out of that Thailand cave. Remember?
Nice.
Saman Gunan. He is the guy that he was going underwater to get to them, and he was setting up tanks along the way so that we get the boys out of the cave. And he didn't save enough air in his tank for him, so he died for lack of oxygen.
Yeah.
So that is a hero right there, because when he did that, you have a meter on those tanks, right? You know when you're gonna lose. There's alarms on there. You know when you're gonna run out of air. So he knew what he was doing, but he knew that he had to get those boys ready to get out of the cave because they weren't gonna last much longer in there. So
Right.
he knew what was happening, and he still risked his life, and he did it anyways. Died for those 12 kids.
No greater
12.
love.
Yep, and that coach. So, well done, sir. You are a hero. And if it was up to
Indeed.
me and Joe, we would build a statue. We would fly over there, get the permits from your country, put it right there in that cave, and
Darn right.
name that whole area after you.
Darn right.
You deserve it. So, I can build a statue out of you. In fact, I just did. When I was sitting on my throne, it looked like a perfect clone of you.
Dude,
It wasn't even that
okay.
hard.
Wow.
Yeah,
Like
right?
half of the show, you. Like wow.
It makes sense.
No, it really does not. Not to a normal human brain. Maybe to a USMC monkey brain, but you know what? I'm calling it. We're done.
All right. I can keep talking about making
I
sculptures
know,
all day.
I know, and that's what I'm afraid of.
You wanna
When's
be
the
a
next
quit-
formation?
You want to be a quitter? I'm fine with that.
When's the next formation?
Next formation. Formations are Tuesday and Thursday. If you have a struggle, remember that, like Joe here. So next formation is going to be Tuesday. Are you going
Awesome.
to be there?
Really?
I can do it without you. It's a lot easier. This way,
Who was late to the taping tonight? Oh, you were.
that's
right.
I don't,
Okay.
You don't need any more migraines, all right? I don't want to see you
No,
bleed out of your eye.
I've got one that's like starting like back down here and goes all. I mean, it's like a cluster headache, and that's strictly you did that. Well played to you.
Marines win. Again!
I'm not sure what that noise was.
All right.
Anyway, platoon dismissed. We'll see you next time.